What up, peeps?
We're there again, back with the dating up on audio optics, and where I say this is a future shock.
So, Mr. Deity is basically gonna predict. Well, I'm not gonna say predict because you already know. If you already know, it's not prediction.
Yeah,
right? So, Mr. Deity is gonna tell us something now that when we see it in the future, hear it in the future, we'll be shocked because he shouldn't have known that. But he's a deity. Well, not to us, who doesn't know him. Simple as that. Yeah. Alright, let's hear what his future shock is. I heard that it's a story. I heard that Mr. Deity at the 8-minute shot, that's a story. So that break this up. Well, I would have figured that it would be a story with that. You understand?
Alright. So like we always do, you know, I'm gonna come with something and then one twist about dead.
Yeah. He always have a twist. There's always a twist. There's no doubt about that. Right? Alright, let's get into it. 8 Bars Entertainment. Pre.
Yeah, boy, let's go.
Underground dialogue. You sound serious, sir.
Time for dating and come back to check together.
It's coming. It definitely have to come. You cannot agree upon one side and agree upon the next side and it does not happen. It's coming. It's coming.
K-RINO and Deity, we need a song, even one.
No K-RINO and Deity, sir.
Oh.
we already got that on I forgot it. But with him and himself. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean K-RINO and Combatter. We need to do a song together.
Duality,
yeah.
Now in the present day, an elderly scientist stepped away, went inside a basement with a chamber in it where a man would lay in an arrested state. He was slightly frozen with his life exposed. The case was gold and it was tightly closed. The scientist then approached nice and slow, located a keypad and typed the code. He heard a bang as if the frame had popped. The oxygen within the chamber stopped. He was calm in the middle of a dangerous spot. Then the airtight steel door came unlocked. The man was tired yet he rose elated. His hair was grown out, his clothes were dated. He pulled out and read from a folded paper where his name and identity he slowly stated. The 50s was the decade he's born. He was now in a place that's way beyond. He was asked what year and date he's from. He said August of 1981. He said, do you recall how we got you here? He said, yes, I'm a program volunteer. He said, this is the breakthrough of my career. You are now in the clear, you are not the fear. He was grateful the case was safe for travel. Said, I have questions I can't wait to ask you. 43 long years he was laid and shackled in a cryogenic preservation capsule. He was told, relax and get your nerves together. Out of every person, he was the first one ever to insert himself in the unheard endeavor of bringing one from the past to the current era, to this modus.
So being one from the past to the current era. So what on this? So you see something that he says something like that, you know Beast 1333.
Me never listening much.
Alright. Him did say something like that where him freezing brain and some cryogenic sitting.
Yeah.
So even for like 1,000 years, so 1,000 years in the future, in can still function.
Yeah. We see that I see that in some movies too. I'm currently watching a series, The Blacklist. Crazy. I think it was the last one I watched, the last episode in season 3. That's what they did. Take the people in brain, freeze them for the future. Whenever scientific whatever happens, they can just take them and put them in whatever body and make them continue to live. So 1981. So basically, it depends on what time in the future this is. So whatever experiment he does, if this person volunteered, and it seems to be working now.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's continue.
First one ever to assert himself in an unheard endeavor of bringing one from the past to the current era. To this mode of science, there was no denying. It plainly showed that the goal to triumph had a scope, and before they could socialize and to help him cope in an unroped environment, the conversation was beyond amazing. Of all of the years, not one had aged him. They asked him questions, the responses dazed him. Who's the president?
Not one has aged him. So nobody, because basically where he's coming from, he's supposed to be the oldest, even though he probably don't look old.
Yeah.
Amazing. Of all of the years, not one had aged him. They asked him questions, the responses dazed him. Who's the president? He said Ronald Reagan. For one full day, he was up in the lab, giving an answer that
Ronald Reagan. So that's how,
you know, the US back in the, maybe that's in the 80s for him.
yeah.
We wouldn't have known that he as a president at an older age, because when we were old enough to understand what's going on, it would have been George Bush or Bill Clinton, one of them. Yeah. All right. So if you say Reagan, that means it probably
from way back in that Jerry Curl era, yeah, from there,
dazed him. Who's the president? He said Ronald Reagan. For one full day, he was up in the lab, giving an answer that sounded stuck in the past. He was grilled until there was nothing to ask. What's the price of gas? He said $1.50. He passed every test, every tedious plight.
How much for gas? $1.50. How much for gas now? Probably 100 times that, sir.
Until there was nothing to ask. What's the price of gas? He said $1.50. He passed every test, every tedious plight to see if it's right. Some he repeated it twice. Picture all that time just to lead it from life. But to him it felt like he was asleep overnight, but still in a weak state because he hadn't ate. There were specialized vitamins he had to take, had to wait for the nutrients to activate so his mind and his anatomy could acclimate. First contact after that time alone, seeing things that he would never find at home. Another level of technology finally known. When they showed on the internet, his mind was blown. He's like, for quick, what kind of device is this? Anything I wanna know, just type and click. Every sports event, every world crisis miss. How can anything like this in life exist? Famous people who passed on were quite the list. Muhammad Ali, Sinatra, Mike and Prince. Young stars and world leaders, celebrities deep were either grown up old or already deceased. Anything he didn't.
So Michael
all
Jackson,
those celebrities, either them grew up old or them already deceased.
Yeah. So Michael Jackson, Prince, and Muhammad Ali and all these people.
And Prince, young stars and world leaders, celebrities deep were either grown up old or already deceased. Anything he didn't believe there was evidence. They helped him process with rare benevolence. The world was embedded with next level intelligence. Couldn't believe that he had stepped through 5 presidents and once commanded all things were answered. New means of transit, it seems were rampant. It felt like a dream. The reality was he was now in a world of extreme advancement. It was finally time for him to visualize and see the outside with his own 2 eyes. He looked surprised when he walked out the building. The feeling of anxiety nearly killed him. It was hard to frame because it all was strange. The smallest things, even the cars had changed. Yet it jarred his brain because it was still a few spots he recalled from his time that he saw remain. He saw people in a vast wide open zone, different looks and new types of clothing on. He was still mentally trying to hold his own. What is everybody carrying? Those are phones. That concept was way too far to fathom. He was shocked when every person he saw it had him. He asked him if those are phones, why some people talking while others are just staring at him. He explained a few things.
Because they never see phone in hand, so why make some people that talk, some people that talk to them and someone stare at them? Oh shit!
Because in a film time,
in a film time, I the phone in the wall.
Yeah, but at the same time, he died early.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have lived to see cell phones.
Yeah.
Remember, it's not like he was born in the early 1900s, so he died in the 80s, so he would have died before.
Yeah.
So they asked where he come from in the 80s, 81, so he had died before that.
Oh.
So he would have died young.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we didn't grow up to see cell phones, touchscreen, we would have died young in our 20s.
Yeah.
Alright.
Things that it could do. You could use internet and take some people talking while others are just staring at him. He explained a few things that it could do. You could use internet and take pictures too. At that moment, the scientist's phone would ring. The man flipped when a face came on the screen. It was like he was talking into the TV. Can that man that you're looking at truly see me? He told him yes and said, here it's easy. When the man talked to him, he freaked completely. He was breathless. Now he had more to question. Never saw nothing like this except the Jetsons. They put him in a vehicle and put an address in.
Oh, but you never see nothing like this, but in the Jetsons.
Oh! How that me never hit my mind straight a while ago, you know. Because remember we always talk about the Jetsons was so futuristic.
Yeah.
Back then we just believe it was just a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is hitting home right now.
Now he had more to question. Never saw nothing like this except the Jetsons. They put him in a vehicle and put an address in. The car started talking and giving directions. He was in the future, yet still the present. Glad to be selected to live this blessing. What he missed was fed into his mind in sections from the end of apartheid to 9/11. Every war was told martial law imposed. Over people the government had more control. Any music from then that he bought was old. Rap exploded and now was the largest soul. He had lost every minute of a long continuum. The 80s, the 90s, and new millennium. Living a dream that he couldn't prove to anyone. And truth is, he had only viewed the minimum. When he learned about crack, his soul was hurt. Did they ever cure cancer? No, it's worse. Not a new and old earth, the roles reversed. Lost faith in every...
So they never cure cancer, no, even worse, no. You see, so the time I come from, I know it's still in our future, and nothing's still not changing that here.
But eventually, look, if all these things, it would not believe could have ever happened at any at all. These things are possible now. I'm on the phone, we're talking to someone, and he's seeing me, and we are talking, and yeah, like really? Oh, what about cancer? Because they must cure cancer by now. Yeah, it get worse. Like, what? Are you this advanced? You are this advanced and have not found a cure for cancer? No. Something is wrong, sir.
Yeah, man.
Something is wrong.
Yeah, man.
Was hurt. Did they ever cure cancer? No, it's worse. Not a new and old earth, the roles reversed. Lost faith in everything he hoped at first. What about racism? Is that erased? Unfortunately, no, it's still in place. He was crushed to learn that was still the case. In his heart, he felt that was a real disgrace. Then he wondered how all these years amassed in the world we live in was still as bad. Not a path was laid out to feel the wrath. To process it all, he was ill prepared. He was so deflated by this broken place. What would motivate folks to hold a hate? The man couldn't conceive the decadence in degrees, so the scientists set him down and told him straight. Since the date you entered your unconscious state, the planet grew from 4 billion people to 8. So the government raised to depopulate, cause the leaders dictate with heathenish traits to increase the murder and lack of love. The advent of AI and random drugs. Out of all this time, it had slipped his mind. He hadn't even asked where his family was. He was strongly gassed, then he calmly asked. His son was 1 when he begun his task. The scientists had to let him know the fact that his dad was...
His son was 1
when he started his
task. But at the same time, he would have still died young, right? One of his son is one of the scientists.
Yeah. So we are calling when I saw that I scientist there.
He calmly asked. His son was 1 when he begun his task. The scientists had to let him know the fact that his dad was still living, but his mom had passed. He broke down and like a...
Is that what?
Task. The scientists had to let him know the fact that his dad was still living, but his mom had passed. He broke down and like a young child he cried. Learned half of all his close friends had died. Then he felt what he did was a selfish call, cause in taking this step he had left them all. He was overcome like his life was done. He said, please see my wife and son. He was told he could, but under one condition. He had to witness them from a distance. We told him we took you on an expedition, and during the mission you came up missing. So how would it look if today you came 4 decades later and looked the same? He understood.
4 decades later
and you still remain the same.
Still look the same, yeah. Oh, we have to explain this to them. I mean, we can bring it to them because they are still living. But how would we explain this to them?
Alright, so indeed at an early age and you look that way there.
Still look the same way.
And like 40 years later you still look the same way?
Where were you? so they don't want to explain how it happened? Maybe they don't want to explain to okay, alright. Yeah. Cause still experiment, you know.
Yeah.
Alright.
Listen, so how would it look if today you came 4 decades later and looked the same? He understood that he felt divided. They drove him to where his wife resided. She walked outside to check the mail. She was 70 years old, gray and frail. So out of sight, he was standing clear. Too far to spot, no chance to hear. Then a man appeared, it was a husband. She had been remarried 30 other vanished years. The shock was great, he had to stop and pray. The healing might come, but not today. Remaining silent with a lot to say. And his son just lived a few blocks away. His son's address, they drove fast. He was in the yard about the mowing grass. It was so contrasted to see a man that was a baby last week when he got to hold him last. So they chose to leave before he noticed them. He realized his own son was older than him. Now his heart was broken, he was incomplete. He had grandchildren that he couldn't meet. He said he learned from this when this procedure ends. When you send me back, I'll never leave again. The scientist said, send back, you know the rules. This is not time travel. You're confused. Every year that went by, you live this.
So this is not time travel.
This is not time travel. Don't get it confused. Because whatever happened to him, they were able to save his body or his brain and yes, probably freeze it.
Yeah.
So he still remain the same. Because remember, you know, ice doesn't make anything age. Ice keep it at one level.
Yeah.
So he's thinking time travel because probably that was could have been talked about in his time. But this ice freeze up thing probably wouldn't have.
Oh.
You understand?
Yeah.
So he's thinking it's that, so no get this confused. So maybe them I will explain to him now exactly if I decide.
To session back, you know the rules. This is not time travel. You're confused. Every year that went by, you lived it, son. All the chamber did was to keep you young. I know it's strange for you to feel swept away from a life that seems like it was yesterday, but the reality is you must now rebuild. Contact your family and you'll be killed. This is now the existence that you must go through and adjust to this brand new world I showed you. Here's the paperwork with a signed proposal from 40 years ago when I first told you. The man said we've never met before. First time was when you opened the chamber door. I assumed that you were just a man assigned to guide me. When I woke up in the modern time, he said, no sir, sit down and I'll reveal it. The cryogenic machine, I'm who built it. Concentrate, look into my face a minute. I was young like you when I placed you in it, but I grew old just like the rest of your people, and you should be glad that I lived to free you. He said, sir, you were just half the story. He took the man back to the laboratory. They took an elevator down to the basement. I'm training you to be my replacement. My time is ending in this.
Oh fuck! I'm training you to be my replacement. Oh shit!
So this is kind of similar to the reveal.
Yeah.
Where the dude wanted deity to take his place, and deity said no bother with that. No, me never sign up for this. I did not sign up for this. No, get rid of that. But yeah, we understand it. It's sort of the same here.
They took an elevator down to the basement. I'm training you to be my replacement. My time is ending in this ugly venue. When I'm gone, the program must continue. The man was still shook and crushed indeed, but he had no choice, and so he just agreed. When the lights were turned on, to his surprise, it was a new chamber with a new man inside. The scientists gave the codes to unlock the door. It was set for the year 2064.
It was set to what? How much?
To 2064.
2064.
Codes to unlock the door. It was set for the year 2064.
Well on there. So 2064 out how much years from now?
With the 2023, 33, 43, 53, 63, 41 years from now, roughly. 41 years from now. And that's the next 40 years again.
Yeah.
Because he had... So what is it about 40 then? Because it's 40 years later.
Yeah.
And that, so he had died in his maybe early 30s.
Yeah.
Early 30s, right? Early 30s, because his wife is 70 plus. So we're going to say they were just about the same age.
Yeah.
And in the next 40 years again, then who is this?
So on different, somebody our experience the same thing.
Right.
So when them come out, them our experience the world totally different from how it is now.
So we understand exactly why now it's a future shock.
Yeah, fuck. Yeah, so it's a few. When you see the future, it's a fuck. All of this happen. Like.
Deity! So this is to be continued.
Yeah, must. Yeah.
This is to be continued. Yeah, man. Probably the next album.
Yeah.
Probably the next album. We will see who is going to come out. 2064. Boy, that's... Anyways, we're on to the next one. Yeah, boys.